And when you consider surrogacy, especially surrogacy for the sake of surrogacy, there is something demonic about it, right? When you are doing it, not because you can't have a child, right? Even worse, right?
All right, that's Candace Owens saying that surrogacy is demonic. And what is she talking about? If you guessed Khloe Kardashian, you'd be right. That is how she started talking about surrogacy being demonic. Okay, so Khloe Kardashian recently had I believe, second child via surrogate, and sort of was honest about the experience and how it felt for her. She said, quote, "I was definitely in a state of shock. I think for my entire experience in general, I felt really guilty that this woman just had my baby. And I take the baby and then I go to another room and you're sort of separated. I felt like it's such a transactional experience because it's not about him. I wish someone was honest about surrogacy and the difference of it, but it doesn't mean it is bad or good. It's still great. It's just very different." So that is all. She was just saying it feels different, and of course it feels different. Of course it would feel different, but that didn't stop Candace Owens, and here is a little bit more of that rant.
We would not allow this to take place were it happening to an animal. Literally, right now, if you go to an agency and you say, "I want to purchase this cat," right? They will tell you that they will not give you the cat for 3 months because they want that kitten to be around its mother. They would never allow for a dog to give birth and then snatch the dog instantly, the puppy instantly away from its mother. They would never allow a kitten to give birth and then snatch it away instantly and sell it because they would say there's something wrong about that, right? They would say we cannot treat animals this way. Of course, the kitten at first needs to find its mother's nipple and it needs to feed. For some reason, when it comes to humans, we just say it's fine.
Does that mean she's for universal paid family leave for 3 months? Yeah, no, probably not. Okay, I have to kick it to you guys because she later goes on, I'm not gonna make you watch this, but she later goes on and said, this is an exception, like it should just be rare and it's an exception to the rule. And yet she's talking about, she's talking about Khloe Kardashian. She's talking about a celebrity, right? Who, chose to not have the baby herself. She wasn't physically unable to, she just chose not to. And here's Candace Owens saying that that's everyone who seeks surrogacy. And on top of that, there's a lot of anti-gay stuff here. We all know that a lot of people who have kids by surrogate are same-sex couples. But anyway, I'll leave it to you guys to weigh in on the demonic nature of it.
I'll give you a quick thing. Candace Owens, I don't know what kind of expertise she has in child psychology or any of that stuff, but when she starts comparing it with cats and dogs, how does she know? I mean, dogs lick their butts. Human beings don't lick their butts. We're different than dogs. So Candace Owens is not an expert on this, and I feel bad for whoever sits there and watches her. That's all I gotta say.
Now let's note that Candace Owens is from the party that emphasizes freedom. So you're free to do anything you like, except be part of the LGBTQ community and teach actual American history. And there's 1,000 different things that get you canceled on the right. But now we have to add to the list surrogacy. You're not allowed to be a surrogate anymore. You're not allowed to use surrogates anymore because freedom. Wait, isn't that the opposite of freedom? You're telling us how to lead our personal lives. And in fact, you're telling us that we're demonic if we don't follow your rules and regulations about our personal lives. No thanks. Now, I also have some stunning hypocrisy for Candace Owens in this regard, but back to Francesca.
Yeah, I think we need the full context here. She doubles down on the demonic comment and characterization of surrogacy, but says that I guess she thinks there are legitimate and illegitimate reasons, but it's all still one thing. So take a look.
Of course, I know that there are always exceptions to this, and sometimes there are circumstances where there is a couple that has been trying to have children for 10 years. Something is wrong with the woman's body, and she agrees with her sister to give birth. And her sister, of course, is both the aunt and the person that gave birth to the child, and it's forever in her life. And of course, in the comments, one of you guys is going to give me one of these exceptions, but I don't pay attention to exceptions. I pay attention to rules. And there is something deeply demonic about surrogacy.
The rule being most people who have children via surrogacy are Kardashians, right, guys? We all know that. Don't you know what? This is her jumping off point, that she pays attention to the rule. No. The rule is most people aren't Kardashians who have surrogates, and yet she still calls them all demonic. It's absolutely insane. And look, I thought the right wanted people to be pregnant. And so now you don't want surrogates? Finally, I'm just gonna say, surrogates actually, I know people have had kids by surrogates, and they are incredible people. A lot of them, yeah, they do it to make money, but they also like being pregnant. I gotta say, as a mom, being pregnant was the easiest part of this entire thing, right? And so surrogates are incredible, and they do a lot for families, making new families, and they go through a lot themselves.
I'll tell you, if Candace Owens had been complaining about the Kardashians overstaying their welcome because they have another new season, I'd be on board with her, because I'm not a big fan of the Kardashians. But the truth is, the hypocrisy, and then the terminology, it's always religious. To say demonic, it's one thing for her to come out and go, look, I'm just not into surrogacy, and I'm pro, I'm anti-abortion, anti-woman's right to choose. And so I think you should have a baby, but if you want to have it through surrogacy, I don't agree. For her to go with demonic, this goes back to the insane religious crap we keep running into. Again, I'm not against religion. I have a lot of friends who are religious, and they're good people, and to each his own or her own. But Candace Owens is really just a bad human being. And for her to come at people like this, I really hope, I don't know who's watching her. And if I'm if I'm a woman viewer and I'm somebody who is even considering surrogacy, and to be, that's hurtful to that person, because like you said, Francesca, most people are going to surrogacy because they're having difficulty getting pregnant. Or if you choose to find a surrogate and you're one of the Kardashians and you guys just don't want my body to go through it, then to each his own. Candace Owens, what is this doing to you? Don't you have other subjects to talk about? Go spew your hate on some other group. I can't wait till they start going after the Middle Easterners again. It's been a while. Bring it back around.
Yeah, they do a lap of hate, and come back around to some topics, etc. So look, by the way, she didn't say demonic. She said deeply demonic. It's not like just shallow demonism. It's deeply demonic. We're gonna find out in a second who else is deeply demonic. But she says this is the rule that she wants, the rule. So I guess the tyrannical government would have to impose that rule. So if you personally want to be a surrogate or to use a surrogate, sorry, you now have to live by the so-called morality of Candace Owens, because she wants big government to enforce that on all of us, because she doesn't want us to have freedom. She wants just us to live in her weirdo theocracy. But I tweeted about this, and some folks made some good points, and I want to read them and give credit to them. Garrett at Stop Taffer wrote in, Candace literally helped Dave Rubin pick out accessories for his kid who came from surrogacy. So I guess that makes Candace Owens deeply demonic, because she's helping them in this surrogacy situation.
Demonism. Yeah. Accessory to demonic, yeah, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
sure.
Accessory
demonic accessory.
Yeah.
No, don't even get me started on Rubin. We could talk forever about that. I think it's deeply demonic to advocate for restrictions on women's bodies and abortion rights when you at the same simultaneously are benefiting from a pregnant woman. So that's just my thoughts on Dave Rubin. But I think that to your hat tip, it is ironic that the right loves to talk about who can be a mom and who can't be a mom. They love policing this line for some reason, even though right now they want everyone to be a mom, even people who didn't want to be a mom. So remember this from a few weeks ago, Marjorie Greene talking to the head of the teachers union, and telling that person that they are not actually a parent because they didn't physically birth the child. They're just a step parent. Take a look.
What I'd like to talk about is your recommendations to the CDC as not a medical doctor, not a biological mother, and really not a teacher either. You had no business advising the CDC what the medical guidelines were for school closures, because now we have a nation of school children who have suffered because of it. The problem is people like you need to admit that you're just a political activist, not a teacher, not a mother, and not a medical doctor.
Yeah. So yeah, that head of the teachers union is a mom by marriage, but yeah, no, that doesn't count. Now we're going after step parents, people. Now we're going after step parents. So what is it? Who's gonna fit the bill? And then once that perfect mom comes along, do they get healthcare and paid family leave and universal pre-K? No.
I feel like Marjorie Taylor Greene should be on a bicycle in front of a class with all of us on bikes, and you're like, okay, because she always likes to post her pictures of her working out, and you're like, all right, we're working out, and and she's got her voice, and come on, let's go, and then she'll start saying something kooky like, moms are, if you're not a biological mother, you're just a political activist, and you walk away talking to your other student in the bike riding class, and you're like, you think our teacher's a little cuckoo, isn't she? She's a little MAGA, right? But you know what? It's a good class. I'm gonna come back to do the biking. But I just like that should be the level of her authority in America. Is maybe but CrossFit training, bike riding coach, maybe
shouting at a Soul Cycle.
Cycle coach. That should be her. That should be her ceiling. And yet she's one of 435 people that's in Congress. I mean, this is like the state of idiocracy. Remember that movie? That's what this is.
Every day.
100%. So by the way, again, personal freedom, except for stepmoms, surrogates, gay people, and anyone we don't like, anyone that isn't a white straight Christian or pretending to be a white straight Christian, but freedom. All right, I'm gonna end on Rob Funk. He's another guy who wrote in on Twitter to my post, and I enjoyed what he said. He said, wasn't the Virgin Mary a surrogate to a ghost or something?
That's great.
Apparently deeply demonic. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.